don't know where to start, it can be overwhelming, even paralyzing. So let's fix that. Welcome to Simply Cyber, a community of tens of thousands of aspiring and active cybersecurity professionals focused on networking, knowledge sharing, and professional development. I'm Dr. Gerald Dozier, Chief Content Creator at Simply Cyber, inviting you to get the answers to your cybersecurity problems with hundreds of cybersecurity videos answering your frequently asked questions, interviewing industry experts, and live streaming daily cyber threat briefings hosted by me. Now get the stories and insights you won't find anywhere else. Hit subscribe now and dig into all the fresh content on the channel and in the community. Nothing should stop you from launching and leveling up your cybersecurity career today. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, March 6, 2024. This is episode number 572 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Dozier, and over the next 45 minutes, me, you, Uder, Abram, Brent B, Marcus Kyler, and the Yeet crew, Chris Young representing it for Detroit Rock City, Rhonda Rummerfeld from the Low Country, Johnny 5, folks over on LinkedIn like Logan Fuller, mod teams like Jesse Johnson and Kimberly Can Fix It, YouTubers like Dan Cash and Brent B. LaGrotte. We're all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories, on what it means to you as a practitioner. So how can you use this information to reduce cyber risk for your business stakeholders? And for those who are looking to break into the industry, whether it's pivoting in from some other role like military, or you just don't like your job anymore and you want to get into this hotness that is cybersecurity, there is going to be massive value for each of you here. Believe that. You're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current on the industry? Boom, this is how you do it. Also, networking is super important. Say good morning to Jenny Housley in chat, another amazing member of the mod team, Jenny Housley. Just say hi. That's networking, right? Networking is so valuable. Trust me. Simply Cyber Community Challenge coming up in a little bit. Your opportunity to dive on what I think is an amazing initiative for helping individuals professionally network with each other. Just as a reminder, all the stories that we're going to be going through over the next 45 minutes to an hour, I have not looked at in advance. I haven't researched them. In fact, we were having some AV troubles earlier before the show started, so I didn't even look at the titles of the, and I'm just realizing now I didn't, you'll see me do it live on stream. I didn't frame the stories up, pretty, so I have no clue what we're going to be talking about, but every episode, even the previous 571s, have been bangers because we have a good time here and we dig into it. I got 20 years of experience and a lot of opinions, so it's never a boring show. Believe that. I want to remind everybody that each episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing is worth half a CPE. So be sure to say what's up in chat if it's your first time ever on the program. You picked a good one. It is Worldwide Wednesday. So before we get into the news, we're going to go around the world and show you just how amazing hashtag Team SC, the Simply Cyber community, really is, how diverse, how inclusive, how international we are. So it's always all about good times. Say what's up in chat, first timers, hashtag first timer if it's your first day. And we've got a special sound effect and we've got a special emote for you. So don't be shy. We love welcoming newcomers, hashtag first timer in chat. Now, before we get into it, I do want to say shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors, those who allow me and enable me to be able to bring this awesome podcast to each of you every single morning, starting with my good friend Eric Taylor at Barricade Cyber Solutions. Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. You know the words, everybody. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into the closet to get their brown pants and into turmoil. Go to the bathroom and grab the bottle of the pink stuff because you got an upset tummy. But don't worry. Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. Believe that. They know how to yeet out threat actors from the environment. Do you want to say shout out really quickly? Got a Barricade Cyber shirt on. Oh, you can't really see it here. Like the few, the proud, the paranoid, cybersecurity. Barricade Cyber. Thanks a lot to Eric and the team for sending that over. Super pumped about it. Also want to say what's up really quick. Hold the music. Kosher Dill Kosher Dill, first timer. Welcome to the party, pal. Kosher Dill.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll get those emotes. Squad members, can you hook me up with an assist and please drop the welcome to the party, pal emotes for our friend Kosher Dill. I'm doing an intro here. Also want to say shout out and love to Panoptcy Security. Panoptcy, get a partner who understands your program and your business goals. Listen, there's no shame in the game if you need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help. Cybersecurity, information security is a massive field, and nobody, including SANS instructors, including the Department of Defense's Chief Information Security Officer, nobody knows everything, so it's not shame to ask for a little bit of help, and that's where Panoptcy Security lives. They are a full-service information security consulting company that can help you with big things like planning out your 2024 information security program, maturing your program up, or tactical things like doing a tabletop exercise, doing an enterprise risk assessment. So don't be shy. Call Brandon Poole over at Panoptcy and say what's up. At a minimum, connect with them on LinkedIn and say hello. We got another first timer in the house, Red Hawk Leet, with the old Leet speak framing of his name. What's up, Red Hawk? Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, guys. We got Antisyphon training, but more about them and their amazing SOC getting started with InfoSec and MITRE attack course. More at the mid-roll. Woo, I am super pumped. Let me take a slug of coffee and tell you what's about to happen. Again, every single day, it's like asking me my favorite child. I don't have a favorite child. I don't have a favorite day of the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. Every day has got a special segment, and Wednesdays hold a special place in my heart because what do? We go around the world. On Tuesday, I tell you a little bit about me, but on Wednesdays, I get to learn about you, and that's special. Get your coffee, get your bourbon, get your beer, whatever you got drinking, get ready. When I say tell me where you're at, I'm going to throw a world map up. We're going to give 2 minutes and 22 seconds on the calendar, and we're going to see if we can go around the world. Worldwide Wednesday is presented by IT Pro TV, now IT Pro from ACI Learning, the international online training solution that professionals in audit, cybersecurity, and IT turn to for binge-worthy content. Use my promo code SimplyCyber30 to get 30% off your first month or first year. S Slim Jim TV. It's not your. We're gonna give you a welcome to the party, pal, Slim Jim TV. But I remember you in stream the other day. I remember your name the other day. So welcome back to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, hey, here we go, everybody. Thank you. There's a pinned comment there you can get up on if you want for 30% off. But now let's set the timer to 2 minutes, 22 seconds. And you take over, chat. Where are you at? Here we go. Va Beach is in the house. Dwayne Williams bringing the United States online. West Hollywood's in the house. Palm Beach, Florida. Hello, Memphis. ZMF's representing Earth. Canada's in the house. Very nice. Our nation's capital for Marco Polo. We got Wisconsin cheese coming in hot. Kenneth Ruff representing the UK. Pip pip cheerio, Kenneth. New Boston, New Hampshire. Hey, Vijay got India online. We got Asia coming on. Yes, sir. What's up, Portugal? I see you. Pushed in by Spain. Austin, Texas is in the house. Canada again. Racine, Wisconsin. We got a Wisconsin contingent. Mr. Greenreads knows what's up. Alberta, Canada. Zimbabwe, Kuta Chimera, my friend. Yes, let's do it. Where's Zimbabwe? Boom. Africa's in the house representing. Hey, Arkansas. What's up, AC Jersey? Dirty Jers. I love it. Portugal's in the hizzy. Hello from Toronto. Good to see you, Ottawa. Phoenix is in the house. Hey, Tom Bishop bringing the boot online. Yes, sir. South Africa. Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Where's our Australia? Let's go, Romania. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Romania's in the house. Looking good, Romania. London, Ontario. I see Belgium. Boom, baby. Let's get some Belgian action in here. Oh, Belgium's so small on this map. All right, we got it. Thailand's in the house. More of that Asian contingent. Colombia. Oh boy, yes sir. All right, Guatemala's in here. Hey Guatemala, good to see you. Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to find Guatemala. There it is. Guatemala's in the house. All right, we got Kenya. Kenya's representing. Boom, Kenya. Eastern, we got that. Where's Australia? We can't have 2 weeks in a row. Melbourne, Australia. Woo! Everything else after this is just cream, baby. Atlanta, hot Atlanta's in the hizzy. Mexico, thank you, Mexico. Look at North America going full tilt. Oh my God, so good, guys. So good. Let's get back to the music really quickly. Oh my God. All right, so I'm just going to do a little cleanup. We got Morocco, boom, Africa. I think Morocco, that might be the first time we've gotten Morocco in the house. I don't remember doing them before. Georgia, ain't nobody. Are we talking the country or the state? The Philippines? Philippines is in the house. Where's my Philippines? All right, guys. We went around the world. If I didn't see you, Japan. If I didn't see you, I'm sorry, but we tried to do our best. We did go around the world. I do, it's funny. I do know I've worked in Antarctica. I know people in Antarctica. It's just difficult to coordinate with them to be on stream at this exact time. All right, guys. Whoever's representing Colombia, thank you very much. Certainly appreciate that. Again, thanks to ACI Learning. Guys, I just want to point out, we went around the world. We successfully crushed it. This is what I'm talking about. Cybersecurity, it's an ongoing battle, but it's the people. It's the people. And guys, I am blessed and very, very grateful to, be part of a community that is so diverse, so international, so inclusive. I see Tunisia. Where is Tunisia? That I hate to sound like such a dope, but Tunisia, let's find you. Is this Africa? Oh, it's top right near. Okay, hold on. We got you. We got you, Red Hawk. Boom. Yes, sir. Dude, Africa. Listen, really quick. Africa, you guys bring the heat. Like, we didn't even say Nigeria, Ghana. We usually have Nigeria, Ghana, Malawi. There's a couple others that are usually like regularly representing. So, way to go, Africa. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Very cool. All right, guys. Hopefully you're all primed up and ready. We got some great stories for you today. Saudi. By the way, hey, shout out to the mod team really quickly. I'm going to drop some mod love. If you're a squad member, grab those mod love emotes. The mod team's like frantically in here capturing countries and relaying them to me so I can make sure that we get coverage. So thank you, mod team. Jesse, Kimberly, Jenny, BSEC, I see in there. Got a great team over here. I'm so blessed, so grateful. All right, guys, do me a favor. It's time to do some work. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave.
Reports of a data leak caused by a failure in API security.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. I got so distracted with the setup today that I made one small grave mistake. One second. There's a lot going on up here. I think you guys would be stunned if you saw the prep work on this thing.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
I definitely get a Carl for that, for like just dorking up the process.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Wednesday, March 6, 2024. I'm Rich Straffolino.
Hey, no problem, Josh Mason. Good to see you.
U.S. cybersecurity strategy update on the way. Deputy Assistant National Cyber Director for Cyber Policy and Programs, Brian Scott, announced that an update for the National Cybersecurity Strategy Implementation Plan will arrive by the end of Q3 this year. Scott says this will include an update on software liability reform, with the White House calling a symposium of law professors on the issue at the end of March. This could include a safe harbor exemption on software liability for companies that follow secure development best practices. The updated document will also attempt to harmonize the regulatory requirements for critical infrastructure companies.
Okay, so yes, this is good. A couple things going on here. One, shout out, so hold on. A group of university law professors are going to get together with like upper echelon cybersecurity policy directors in the U.S. government to talk. Now, sounds like a snooze fest, right? But looks like they're having this thing in Miami. Oh, somebody get Will Smith on the phone. Right? Isn't Will Smith the Miami thing? Pre-slapping Chris Rock? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, it just seems like quite the contrast between like elbow patches and like cocktails and palm trees. Okay, so I digress. This is pretty good. There was, if you guys remember, there has been guidance around software supply chain and recently talking about legislation and regulations around holding software companies accountable and legally liable if their software gets popped. We've looked at things like Avanti, which their VPN thing got all dorked up and a lot of bad things happened from a cyber tech perspective. We look at MoveIt, the Progress software MoveIt, compromised famously by Clop ransomware gang, just went roughshod and got tens of thousands of companies' data, including like the U.S. government, like Department of Energy, and a couple other agencies. And then we look at Screen Connect just recently. John Hammond's, our very own John Hammond's, representing that, and we see that North Korea is actively, or I saw that last night. North Korea is actively exploiting Screen Connect. So anyways, these are just a couple like examples I grab out of the forefront of my mind to indicate that leadership, like U.S. government leadership is looking and saying, hey, we need to stem the bleeding from these kind of compromises. What do we do? Well, software manufacturers have a perverse incentive in order to get their product out to market ASAP and then fix it later. If they try to bake in all the security, you can never make everything 100% secure. So they'll never go to market, i.e. the business will go out of business. So they're incentivized to do an okay job and push it out, right? Famously, for you youngs who don't know, but if you got gray hair, you'll know what I'm talking about. Famously, Microsoft, before they got serious about InfoSec, used to have a motto of ship it on Monday, patch it on Wednesday. And like that was the deal. And they weren't emphasizing security. In fact, Bill Gates, before he sent out his famous trustworthy computing memorandum, which you can Google, it was like the definitive moment that Microsoft changed their direction strategically around how they treated InfoSec. Back in the day, it used to be like features, like, that Wolf of Wall Street, like one of us, like it was like features, like you would get bonuses at Microsoft for every feature that, you got published into production. So that's why back in the day, if you open like Excel, you'd have like 400 small, tiny buttons across the top because it was essentially like pre-plugins. It was like plugin central, but all of them were like introducing massive amounts of insecurity. Okay, so I digress. So anyways, federal government's like, hey, we should probably hold them accountable. And software companies are like, bro, I don't think you understand how this works. Like, we can't be 100% secure. So now they're talking about potentially, this is why it's law professors getting together and not a bunch of, cyber and IT nerds getting together talking about direction for this. It's legal because they're talking about, okay, for example, they mentioned in the story, we should have safe harbor for software companies that do get popped, but are demonstrating best practices. Okay, that sounds great at a cocktail party as like a high level, hand waving gesture idea. But let's talk about that in practice. I recently had Jack Resider of Darknet Diaries on as a guest. Wicked awesome opportunity. Shout out if you didn't see that episode of Simply Cyber Live, go check it out. But he mentioned his favorite episode was Xbox. I hadn't heard Xbox. If you've heard Darknet Diaries episode Xbox, it's a two-parter. Let me know in chat if you had. I've listened to part one. It's phenomenal. I'm going to listen to part two today. Okay. The way that this hacking crew of hardware Xbox hackers back in the early 2000s got into every major software company, every major video game software company was because of poor password management. Effectively, a form got popped and somebody had like their Epic Games username as like their email address was the username and they had a password. The Xbox hacking crew, Team Avalanche or whatever, they use that username and password to log into Epic Games. And then from there, they move laterally. They dumped all sorts of creds and they got into everything. But listen, that is poor password management by a single individual. You can have the best security in the world, right? I mean, granted, if you had the best security in the world, you probably detect an anonymous login and catch them. But you get my point. A reasonable security program would not detect a compromised credential. Again, multi-factor authentication wasn't so pertinent back then. But like, you get what I'm saying, right? I'm saying safe harbor, but like, dude, you're still going to get popped all over the place. So here's my thing. Who's going to define what reasonable information security programs are? Riddle me that. That's always been the crux of it, right? Like, oh, like you can't sue us. We've been doing a good job. Gross negligence of a cybersecurity program is obvious. Like when you have no passwords, like you're not patching anything. Like if you're a hot mess express, it's obvious. If you're really secure, it's, like kind of obvious and thumbs up. If you're anywhere in between, it's very difficult to subjectively say that's a reasonable cybersecurity program. Like, let me ask you, if someone doesn't have multi-factor authentication on, but they have everything else going on, lots of detection, top of, best of breed firewalls and all this other stuff, but they don't have MFA, is that a reasonable security program? I mean, we could debate about it, but you get my point. It's very murky what they're going to be dealing with here. So we'll see what happens. Whatever they do, I hope they take action and move forward. I hate bloated bureaucratic, posturing, and it's part of the reason I have such a beef with the way they're handling AI right now is because they're moving so glacially. It's stupid. All right. But this is a bigger story. This is like one of those geopolitical strategic cybersecurity stories. You probably won't be asked about this in a job interview, but it is good to know that this is the direction we're going as a country. Sorry for, Kenneth Ruff and, everybody else. We just did Worldwide Wednesday who's not in the United States, but this could set precedent for other, at least Five Eye type NATO countries.
U.S. Treasury issues first spyware sanctions.
Yes.
The government announced sanctions against Tal Dillian, the founder of the spyware company Intellexa, as well as another Intellexa business leader, Sarah Alexander Faisal Hamu. The Treasury justified the sanctions, saying that Intellexa developed spyware that targeted Americans, including government officials and journalists. The sanctions also impacted the Intellexa Consortium, a group of companies that resell Intellexa spyware in different countries, and this includes the developer of predator spyware, Cytrox Holdings ZRT. The sanctions prohibit U.S. businesses from dealing with the listed companies and individuals.
All right. So recently there was a U.S. sanction on like five foreign nationals, I think Russians, and I like lost my mind. I'm like, ooh, like U.S. sanctioning individuals. Like, what good is that? Somebody in the comments on replay, whoever it was, thanks for dropping those comments. And I do read the comments by the way, even the mean ones. And the talk was like, oh, like if they have any assets in the United States, they can't get to them. If anyone wants to deal with them, like businesses or something, businesses can't deal with them. So it does put a little bit of a pinch on those individuals. The U.S., I had no idea that the United States was making moves on sanctioning or looking at these spyware makers. It was in the stories of the news like a couple days ago or last week or something, but for them to like round out and go get sanctions and put them in place and stuff is not something you do overnight. You're like, you don't like Uber Eats like a taco and then while the driver's coming in, like just like lay out some US sanctions against companies. Like it takes time. So this spyware is a bit of a spyware in this context, like your Predator, your Pegasus, and there's a couple other ones. They are very sophisticated, like Mission Impossible movie type stuff, malware. And I'm glad that the US is taking some action. These companies are not typically based in the United States. But, the United States is a first world country. They do have lots of money. We do consume a lot of things. So, it could put a pinch. It could put a hit in their bottom line. And by the way, like if you're really going to mess with a company,
Straight cash, homie.
got to go after their pocketbook, guys. Finger wagging and public shaming is one thing, but when you remove their market, that hurts a little bit more and gets their attentions. I would not be surprised if this was the beginning of multiple companies being sanctioned. In fact, I'd actually be a little okay, let me get my tinfoil hat on really quickly. And newcomers, if I say something that's like purely speculative, I do use the tinfoil hat Jerry thing here. I wouldn't be surprised. I would expect to see more sanctions coming for companies like NSO Group, companies that are identical to this Intellexa company and their spyware. Because it's what's the difference? I mean, they've demonstrated that they're not adhering to like righteous client lists, right? Like, oh, only law enforcement, only good guys. So, but the tinfoil hat is, if a company like NSO Group doesn't get U.S. sanction, it makes me want to go like Arsenio Hall and go, like, I know that it's silly and it's very like made for Hollywood, but I honestly believe that there's like power, not Illuminati, but like there's like power brokers out there and people who have friends in high places and money shifting and, you know, funding political campaigns and regimes. And like, if you got a friend in high places and you're like it would be really bad if you sanctioned us, like hey, make sure NSO Group isn't sanctioned. Find some loophole or something like that. So like, my point is, this is a precedent. Because of this precedent, I would assume that other companies doing this would be held in the same level of accountability and punishment. Again, this is like, for those who are younger, you may not know, but Arsenio Hall used to have a late night talk show that was very different than the other ones. And I watched it quite a bit. I think I was like 10, probably not wicked appropriate, but he had this thing about things that make you go home, and really kind of question it. So we'll see what it goes. I'm glad the United States is flexing with its first world power on these vendors. You cannot be, here's the deal. These companies are basically lords of war. They are cyber weapons arms dealers. That's what they are. They'll sell to the highest bidder. The tools are highly effective and they enable espionage, not compromising, but degradation and erosion of democratic processes, unfair market advantages. Like there's a lot going on with this, but it's a Lord of War type thing. So it just doesn't have bullets, right? All right, let's go.
UK denies responsibility for ALF V takedown. Sites belonging to the ALF V/BlackCat ransomware organizations updated to show a takedown notice from a group of international law enforcement agencies, including the UK's National Crime Agency. These sites recently went dark after a breach involving United Healthcare Group's Change Healthcare, but it remains unclear what happened. However, an NCA spokesperson said, "I can confirm any recent disruption to ALF V infrastructure is not a result of NCA activity." This lends credence to the idea that this represents an exit scam by the group to walk away with affiliate ransom money.
All right. So this has been okay. So, all right. For those who are new here or those who are new to the industry, there is, the day-to-day tactical stuff. Like this hospital gets ransomware hit. This, this company has espionage committed against it. Ukraine hacks Russia's defense ministry. Like there's these like tactical stories, and that's typically what we think of when we think of the news. But if you're following kind of the ecosystem of our industry, which is part of the reason you have to stay up to date all the time, there are players and actors and motives and kind of shifts and stuff. Like we see, like with ransomware threat actors, their shift from ransom to double extortion to just ignoring encryption and just doing data exfil in some instances, right? Like Clop ransomware. So this is an interesting story. So BlackCat and ALF V they're like Siamese twins ransomware threat actor groups. Okay, they're often used together. Sometimes you might just say BlackCat, or sometimes you might just say Alfie, but a lot of times it's referred to as like BlackCat/Alfie. They are tier 1 threat actor group. It's believed by almost everybody that they were originally DarkSide, then they rebranded as Black Matter. They've rebranded as BlackCat/Alfie. And now for this, BlackCat got taken down by International Europol.
Regulators! Mount up.
They got taken down by an international coordinated law enforcement effort, which was absolutely chef's kiss. Like, give me more of that all day, every day. Michael Jackson popcorn. I've got extra left over. I'm still eating Michael Jackson popcorn from the Lockbit storyline that's going on. This particular one, law enforcement has come out and said, hey, listen, Alfie, who was responsible for hitting United Health, which is having a massive impact in the United States. It's a trickle-down effect where different healthcare providers are unable to access medical records. A lot of the big story was that pharmaceutical prescriptions systems were down. So, like, if you have diabetes and you can't get your insulin, that's a life-threatening issue. If you have lupus and you can't get your medicine, that's a life-threatening issue. So, like, there's real impact, real patient safety consequences. And it's really pissing off a lot of people. Sorry, Kennedy. So law enforcement has come out and said, listen, we took down BlackCat, which happened 2 weeks ago, but we did not take down Alfie. So that's more information, more intel of a credible source for us to say, okay, so Alfie is not being forced to disappear. They are choosing to disappear. Now, United Health paid $22 million, likely in crypto. I don't know which crypto they did right now. And please don't get me started on crypto.
I'm a crypto evangelist. I love it, love it, love it.
Don't get me started on crypto, right? But it is surging right now. It's like over 60K for Bitcoin. So I don't know if they did Bitcoin or Monero, but they got 22 million. They officially like kicked out their affiliate for hitting this hospital. Who knows if the affiliate got their cut of the money or not, but $22 million is one hell of a payday. So Alfie is saying, oh, we're shutting it down. We're shutting it down. A lot of people are thinking, well, are you really shutting it down? Or are you just going away with your $22 million, having a killer spring break down in Cancun, and then sending videos to your sister talking about this is the company party that we're having here on our $22 million, windfall. And then, basically letting the heat die down. That's what I think's happened here. This is a classic story. Hold on. I'm trying to think of, I don't know if anyone saw the Netflix show, The Heist, and it's like, or Bank Heist. And it was basically a port of like some Spanish show. You know how Netflix is all about taking international shows and dubbing them. But anyways, they basically stole the money and now they're going to lay low because the heat is on. That's all it is. Here is my speculative hot take. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it tomorrow, and I'm going to say it every day. They're going to rebrand. I said, Black Donkey, right? BSEC is with me on this one. Flaming Donkey, Black Donkey. Just believe me when I say this. I'm going to take a lap around the room. It'll be a very humble lap, but it'll be a lap around the room when we see a threat actor come out of nowhere in about 6 months, just like a hurricane coming out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden the TTPs come out and attribution is going to be given to them, Alfie, and but they'll have a new name. And if it's Flaming Donkey, I am going to be horrified because my door's probably going to get kicked in by federal law enforcement wanting me to know why I have a Flaming Donkey APT and how I was like the the mastermind behind the coordination. Please, let's not have that happen.
Change healthcare attack causing cash flow issues. When we talk about fallout from a cyber attack, it generally involves dealing with IT infrastructure outages or doing things like assessing data loss. But the recent Change Healthcare attack that we just referenced resulted in major cash flow disruptions with hospital and pharmacy networks. This is ongoing. Analysts speaking to The Record estimate this amounts to about $100 million a day in what they refer to as deferred revenue. The attack continues to impact insurance filings at a large number of healthcare organizations. This makes dealing with the crisis more of a business continuity challenge than a typical cyber attack.
Yeah. So this is another one. Like I told my students about this on Tuesday. Like this is another one. So like I mentioned the impact from this story, and again, this is why Alfie is basically dipping and going underground for a little while, because the impact from this particular hack was bananas. Okay, now the United Health paid $22 million ransom. I have not heard, and anyone in chat who's heard, please chime in. I haven't heard that they got the keys. You'd think for $22 million, you'd get the damn keys and you'd start unlocking everything and getting back to business. When you have a lot of businesses depending on you in a third-party operation, and I won't get too into the business of healthcare, but in the United States, it's a hot mess express. Like the insurance companies are involved, that the hospitals have to document every single thing that is done, right? A doctor touches you, document it. A nurse weighs you, document it. Another doctor comes in and sticks a needle in your leg, gives you some medicine, document it. What was in the, what that just for the services. Now, what was the medicine? Document that. The, what are you there for? Annual physical? Document that. Charge, right? It's all about revenue, right? Like the American healthcare system is not about delivery of healthcare. It's about straight cash, homie. Okay.
Straight cash, homie.
So when you're dorking up the rev cycles of a healthcare system, remember, when I get like the shot in my leg today, it has to get processed. It has to be sent to the insurance company. They have to come back and approve it. Then the money has to be released 30 days, 45 days, whatever. So if you think about the way that healthcare generates revenue in the United States, it's like a manufacturing line. Well, with this attack, they have effectively interrupted the manufacturing of money, frankly, for healthcare systems. And healthcare systems, they have high cost, expensive doctors. They have high cost, expensive, utility bills. Some larger hospitals like MUSC, they have their own power plant on the island, on the peninsula, because they have so much freaking energy needs. It's not cheap to run one of these things. And on top of that, a lot of healthcare systems in the United States are actually like, basically absorbing smaller ones. It's like when the Terminator 2, the guy gets blown up because he's frozen, and then it starts heating up in the foundry and he starts reforming. That's what, like that reforming, that is what is going on with the US healthcare system. So anyways, sorry to go down a friggin' rabbit hole here, but the deal is this could bankrupt businesses, right? You talk about, oh, my email is not working. Oh, we're on paper for like documenting patient safety or patient care. If you don't have money to pay payroll, how many doctors are going to show up on Monday? If you don't have money to pay payroll, lights don't just keep on by themselves, right? So this actually could have a devastating downstream consequence. And this is something that you should be talking about. Again, this is a little bit harder of a conversation, but when you're doing enterprise risk discussions, if your company is that mature, you should be talking about, hey, how much money do we have in order to maintain business operations? Like, what's it cost to run this hospital a day? Okay, if we're down for 30 days, do we go out of business? You tell me. Like, it's a real concern. And this is a CEO discussion, a CEO conversation, and a CEO CFO decision.
Now a word from our sponsor, Conveyor. Conveyor is the only GPT-powered customer trust portal that automates the entire customer security review process, from sharing your security posture and documents in a single portal to automating security questionnaire responses with 90% accuracy so you can fly through any customer security review in minutes. It might sound like every other compliance software claim out there, but there's a reason their customers have dubbed Conveyor their favorite security tool of the year. Test their market-leading AI in a free proof of concept at conveyor.com. CISA.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the Simply Cyber Breakfast Club, aka the Mid-Roll. Thank you all so very much for being here. We got 462 of you beautiful people today. I want to say thanks to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber, Panoptcy, and also Antisyphon Training. Guys, Antisyphon Training, if you don't know, they're the training arm of Black Hills Information Security. I freaking love them. They're disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high quality, and I mean high quality, chef's kiss quality, cutting edge education in the cyber arena to everyone, regardless of their financial position. They offer their students the opportunity to learn skills, practice what is taught, and my favorite part, engage with an inclusive, supportive community. If you like the Simply Cyber community, there's a ton of overlap with the Black Hills Antisyphon community. And when they do their trainings, there's a Discord going all the time. It is absolutely amazing. I personally am inspired by the work they do, and am really, really grateful to be able to partner with them and do other things. So if you're interested, I want to call out very specifically, on March 18th, they are running the Getting Started in Security with Black Hills Information Security and MITRE ATT&CK with the very own John Strand, former SANS instructor, the chief of Black Hills and Antisyphon. The guy is awesome. I love myself some John Strand, and you could take this course for whatever price you want. If $0 is what your budget is, get in there. They're not gonna, give you the Heisman and jam your head, like push your head out and close the door. You can get in there. If you want to learn from a super dope, awesome guy, this is where it's at, guys. And what I want to tell you about this training, you can see right here. This training class takes the top vulnerabilities and boils it down to the top 11 things every organization should do to protect themselves. These are the atomic controls. So not only are you going to learn what these controls are, how to implement them, how to discuss them, but just think for a minute. If you're in a job interview for an entry-level position and they're like, well, what do you think about this? And you're like, well, I think the 11 most important controls are... By the time you get to number 6, they're going to say, no more. Oh, this is the big one. When can you start? I'm like, obviously, I can't promise you a job, but my point is, if you understand the 11 critical atomic controls and how they deliver value to an information security program, you're way ahead of the curve. So get on this. It's awesome. Antisyphontraining.com. Links in the description below. Thank you, Antisyphon. All right, guys. The Simply Cyber Community Challenge. I don't think people understand this. I had a call yesterday with Cyber Hamburglar. The Simply Cyber Community Challenge is an opportunity to absolutely blow up your professional network. If you are pivoting, I didn't even think about this, but Cyber Hamburglar told me this yesterday. If you are pivoting from another industry, he was pivoting from automotive, okay? His LinkedIn feed was automotive all day, every day. He connected to a couple people in cyber. He types about cyber, automotive all day. He did the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. And within 24 hours, cybersecurity. So not only does it give you a professional network that's super awesome, but it also fixes your LinkedIn feed. So now you're seeing things that are relevant, timely, valuable, right? Let's say you didn't make it to the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast today. This MITRE ATT&CK training with John Strand, it sure as hell would show up in your LinkedIn feed if you had curated and tuned your feed. Sorry, Kennedy. Curated and tuned your feed to be able to do that. This is the power of the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. And I hate to flip out and yell, but I've noticed that I really feel like I'm not doing a good job of conveying doesn't cost money. This is all it takes is 5 minutes of your time. Please take advantage of this. This is why we do it. All right, guys, here's what's up. That's a plea for you guys. If you would like to do the Simply Cyber Community Challenge, it's simple. Go on LinkedIn and search for the hashtag you see on screen right now, Simply Cyber Community Challenge. Search for it. Connect with the people posting. Connect with the people in the comments and comment yourself. It's as simple as that. The next person who comes through is going to connect with you passively because you're in the comments, all right? Now, most importantly, we need a baton holder, okay? Oh, my God. Okay, so Chris Nicolau is in the baton holder right now. And what I would love to do right now is to say Medicus blog. We're gonna go like this. Medicus blog. Started my cybersecurity L3 yesterday. I'd love to take the baton. Now, I'm not sure what L3 is. I don't know if that's a job or a learning journey or an education program, but whatever it is, Medicus blog, I would love for you to take the baton. And just in case cybersecurity L3 is a job, yes, sir. Way to go, everybody. Medicus blog has the baton. Medicus blog has the baton. Let's go. All right, we already did Worldwide Wednesday, went around the world, so we don't have a mid-roll activity. Let's get back into the news. Super pumped. We're having a great show. Oh, I forgot to say it real quick. If you are getting value from the show, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button. It goes a long way to helping other people find the show. Thank you. Let's go.
CISA reports on Super Tuesday. In a statement, the agency said it provided comprehensive support throughout election night for any issues that may crop up with election infrastructure partners. CISA did comment on a 4-hour outage of Meta services yesterday, saying it was aware of the global scope, but that it was not aware of any specific malicious or election-related activity that caused it. This marks the last large-scale single-day test of the U.S. voting infrastructure ahead of November's presidential election.
All right, note to CISO series, you've got the wrong URL. If anyone from CISO series is here, this URL maps to the incorrect story. So let me pull this up manually. All right, CISA and partners. Oh, CISA, hello. Travis W. knows what's up. Jesse Johnson knows what's up. Our Lady of Cybersecurity, Jen Easterly, who's the director of the CISA agency, and just an amazing person. From what I see, I've never met her, but I bet you if I did, she'd be cool. Basically, we're about to enter the United States presidential election here in November. After the 2020 election, there was all sorts of, this isn't a political show, so I'm not going to get into all of it, but there was a lot of concern over election security, voting machines. You guys know the deal, right? It's exhausting is what it is. But CISA has, is motivated and driven, and it's their mission to make sure a fair and democratic process is executed and that any of the systems that are involved in the election are in fact secure and accountable and auditable and tamper resistant and all the things. So yes, way to go, CISA. I love that they're on top of this right now. They're not just like dragging their feet and waiting until like October to do something. I would be stunned if Jen, I'm friends with Jen. I would be surprised if Director Easterly, aka Jen, doesn't have someone who like reports directly to her that is like over election security, period. Because it does warrant that level of attention and focus. Super Tuesday happened last Tuesday where a bunch of states do their voting and stuff like that. And it was a good, not dry run, but a good opportunity to test out some of the not just the protection mechanisms, but also the detection mechanisms, and most importantly, the communication mechanisms. I just want to quickly share this. Jesse Johnson with a little bit of a flex here. Jen Easterly liking his comment. Very cool. Now, Jesse did tag me in the post. I don't know if Jen read it or not, but we're slowly, we're slowly circling inward towards Jen. All right.
U.S. blocks AMD's AI chip for China. Since the U.S. imposed sanctions on shipping high-end AI training chips, we've seen NVIDIA creating custom, lower-performance chips for that market. AMD hoped to get in on that with a lower-power AI-focused chip meant to meet the Commerce Department's rules and not require an export license. However, Bloomberg sources say the Bureau of Industry and Security informed AMD it would still require a license to export the chip to China. No word if or when AMD will submit a license application for the chip.
All right. So I don't know what a brainchild over at AMD was like, oh no, like we should totally I found a loophole. If we make the chip not super strong, we'll be able to get it through. The United States has been essentially setting up a digital, embargo on transporting or exporting semiconductor technology to China. I don't know how AMD missed the memo on this. So I don't know if AMD is going to try to argue this or try to get it lifted through the, by using the judicial system. But dude, at the end of the day,
Straight cash, homie.
this is straight cash, homie, right? AMD is trying to push through to China. Now, actually, as we talk about this, I am thinking really quickly. Again, I don't prep or research for any of these shows, but I do like literally, if you don't know me, like I play Magic the Gathering a little bit recently, but for the most part, all I do is eat, breathe, sleep, cybersecurity. So like in my free time, I'm like reading cybersecurity news and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, AMD, and I'm going to do this live right now. AMD, China did some really tricky stuff through shell companies and holdings. And I'm almost positive, like through a proxy, the Chinese government owns more than half of AMD, if I'm not mistaken. I know that sounds outrageous, but hold on. Hold on one second. Let me see. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think it is AMD. There was a story like AMD, publicly traded company, et cetera, so anyone can buy it. A bunch of individuals purchased it and then consolidated and then ended up being like one wealthy, Chinese individual or one wealthy company. But then when you trace the lines, you find out that it goes back to the Chinese government. Again, this isn't a political show. I'm just saying, China isn't just laying down and taking this like embargo on semiconductor technology. They're trying to do these things. I do think AMD was one of those. They're trying to make dumbed down versions of the chips that fall under whatever threshold the US government has in order to get into the Chinese market. Guys, at the end of the day, China has massive buying power. And when you're a for-profit company, it's all about straight cash, homie. That's what your shareholders care about. That's what your board of directors care about. They care about cream, right? Cash rules everything around me. We got an emote for that. So that's what they're up to. They're trying to get paid. They're trying to get into that market. And if you don't think China has massive buying power, Google Top Gun jacket Taiwan and see what comes up.
RA ransomware expands globally. Trend Micro reports the RA World Ransomware Group shows signs of increasing sophistication, despite only appearing back in April. It recently targeted several Latin American healthcare organizations with advanced detection avoidance techniques. Since emerging, the group has hit a global list of targets across the US, Germany, India, and South Korea. The group uses Babuk ransomware source code that initially leaked in 2021, but with extensive customization. Trend Micro researchers note this kind of leaked source code lowers the barrier to entry for threat actors while allowing them to focus resources outside of ransomware development.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. I hate to be so flippant about it, but basically, a ransomware group emerged last April, making a name for itself. They are doing some level of code development themselves, but looking at the source code of the ransomware and the TTPs, right? The artifacts that are left behind and the TTPs of the threat actors, specifically around the code base, not around the techniques of infection and persistence and all that stuff. But they're seeing it as a formerly known Babuk ransomware. Now, apparently Babuk ransomware was leaked. The source code was leaked. Anytime a effective piece of malware or software, because I'm about to mention the United States, so I won't call it malware. Anytime an effective piece of maliciously capable software is leaked, people jump on it. Why wouldn't you? Right? It's like, and I'll cite two examples. Mirai Botnet, those three goobers out of Rutgers University who posted the code thinking on GitHub, thinking that the FBI was going to leave them alone. Mirai Botnet today is still ravaging around because they released that code and it lowered the barrier to entry. When the shadow brokers popped the NSA and got the Vault 7 leak, which, without going into all that, one of the tools that dropped was Eternal Blue, which was a tool that the NSA had that could exploit SMBs. 3 weeks after it dropped, WannaCry happened. WannaCry, infamously, like kind of the the straw that broke or not the straw that broke, but the first drops of rain from the monsoon that became ransomware. That was WannaCry, and WannaCry moved so quickly across the world because of Eternal Blue. So anytime you have source code of a maliciously capable software go public, you should put this in stone in the back of your mind as a fact, okay? I don't typically lean into these things so definitively, but this is a fact. When a source code for malicious software drops publicly, you can expect within the next 4 weeks to like 4 months a significant uptick in activity using that software and that malware, because there's a lot of threat actors out there, but not all of them are sophisticated. Not all of them are capable. And if you give them a gun, and like they don't need to know how to build a gun, right? They just need to know how to pick it up and shoot it, right? So that's what's up. It lowers the barrier, which means more people get in the pool, which means it's a lot more splashing going on and people getting wet. All right. Some of these analogies I come up with on the fly are always kind of funny.
Cloudflare announces LLM security solution. The company's new firewall for AI aims to provide a layer between potential threat actors and an LLM, serving to identify potential attacks or malicious prompts before they go out. The new firewall deploys in front of any LLM on Cloudflare's existing Workers AI solution. The idea being this could block things like prompt injection threats at scale without human intervention. Remember to register for...
Sorry, I was looking at mod chat trying to figure something out. All right, AI's next frontier. What is this? Cloudflare announces new defensive AI product for protecting LLM and the companies from attack. Okay. Firewall for AI. Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm calling. I would have to look at it. Again, I do not prepare for these stories in advance. But if I think about what's going on, AI agents are basically just accessed through API calls. So it's just a software as a service. LLMs LLMs are basically the bots. Like the front end that you and I see, this chat bots, that's just a front end to access the LLMs. The LLMs is where all the knowledge is and everything like that. So to protect the LLMs, that's called API security, right? Or like if they get on your network and they're going to go attack them, that's called data security, network segmentation, fundamentals. You can use a firewall to do network segmentation. I'm getting a little hot under the collar. To me, again, I'm going to be fair about this, and I should do some research so I don't look like a complete donkey. But dude, firewall for AI, to me, this smacks of industry jargon buzzword for CFOs and CEOs to get, all hot and under the collar about, ooh, look at this. This is the hotness. Like firewall for AI, I feel like that's like single pane of glass, next gen firewall, digital transformation. Firewall for AI, what are we doing? AI, it's just like LLMs are just a software as a service. Okay, again, maybe I'm simple-minded and I'm missing something, but to me, I like Cloudflare. Way to go, Cloudflare. I would need to do a little bit more information. Maybe it helps with maybe it offloads like prompt injection attacks. The AI needs to know that it's being attacked. Maybe this is something like a proxy between the prompt and the user that is scanning for malicious requests and stuff like that. I could see that to kind of offload from the AI itself, having to know whether or not it's being asked to like get the recipe for napalm. But dude, firewall for AI is like, is that this year's RSA theme?
Straight cash, homie.
For Cyber Friday this week, it's an...
All right, looks like we're over time here. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the news stories. We had a great show today. I had a lot of fun. I want to thank each of you for being here. Hold on. Oh, Chris Rock's chiming in. I do respect Chris Rock and his opinions here. It's actually a good idea, Jerry. Cloudflare already protects open VPN ports by providing a service to hide the endpoints. Cloudflare LLM firewalls will actually help the industry, not me, but the industry. All right, so Chris Rock, Chris Rock, if I understand what he's saying part of the service here is that it'll obfuscate where the LLMs are. So gray hats, which I'll call Chris a gray hat, gray hats or threat actors are less capable of finding them to directly attack them versus, like they basically won't be able to find them. Okay. I think that's what Chris is saying. Maybe we'll do a little bit deeper dive on this. Guys, real quick, we got jaw jacking today. Every single day from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We do some hangouts, some good times. It's an AMA. We go deeper into some of the stories. But if you're here just for the news, shout out to you. Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. If you got value from the show, hit the like button on your way out, as always. Look for Medicus blogs, LinkedIn posts, the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. All about good times. Guys, I'm Jerry, your chat. Have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Now, if you want to do some jaw jacking, let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Jaw Jackin'. I'm your host, Jerry Guy, kicking it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you had a great daily cyber threat brief with Dr. Gerald Ozier, but he's out of here. Get that nerd out of here. It's all about good times and hangouts, all about cool. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right, guys, if you're not familiar with Jaw Jackin', the next 30-minute segment is all about you, the community, answering your questions, sharing resources, tales from the trenches, whatever you guys want. It's a cool hangout. We are a community, hashtag Team SC if you don't know. It's all about good times, guys. And I always like to have some fun up here. This is my job, but just because it's work doesn't mean it has to suck, right? Like I enjoy life. I love cybersecurity. Again, shout out to Barricade Cyber Solutions for sending the shirt in. Cybersecurity, the few, the proud, the paranoid. BarricadeCyber.com. Eric Taylor, the CEO over at Barricade, is a Marine. Hoorah for you Marines out in the community. So where are we at, guys? What do you want to talk about? We could go deeper on firewall AI. But I could talk about upcoming projects. Oh, really quick. I soft launched this cheat sheet thing for the Simply Cyber community. If you guys didn't see it, there's a bunch of people in here right now, actually. I released this, I think Monday or Tuesday. And basically, if you're in the, like, anyone can use this, of course. But I specifically made it for people who are pivoting into cybersecurity. And what I want to tell you, I'll drop a link in chat in a second. But basically, one of the things that brought to my attention is a lot of people who have experience, like people like me, people like, Josh Mason, people like, Gary Ruddle, John Hammond, like amazing people. Tons of people in the community are helping and sharing. But what they do is they share a list. And I do this on LinkedIn all the time too. Like, here's 6 home labs that can help your resume. Here's 5 labs to build to be a SOC analyst. But there's no context. And if you don't understand like what to do and how to use that, like, for example, BSEC talks all the time about Cisco Packet Tracer. And this is a phenomenal tool if you don't have any networking experience to get your hands dirty and understand what's going on. But if you just got this link, you're like, what do I do? Like, it says view course. Like, do I take a course? I have to download Packet Tracer. Where do I download that? Whatever. Like, it becomes overwhelming, and then you just get discouraged, and you're like, well, I'll just bookmark this list and it's cool. And then let's be honest with ourselves. We never go back to the list. Okay. So what I did was I made this awesome list of, I don't know, there's probably 40, 50 resources in here, but I went one step further and I actually created they're called looms, but basically they're like these little videos. This is a 5-minute video, and it's me going through the list for that section and telling you exactly what you need to do. Like, click here, This is why you want to learn this. Ignore this over here. Here's where you can get PCAPs. Be careful when you're doing it. I would use these exercises. Like, to me, this is the missing link between you getting real value in these resources and the list of resources being provided. It connects the two and gives you, like, basically, I call the videos the list in context, so you can understand that. So definitely take advantage of that. I personally, I haven't seen chat yet, but personally, I've had multiple people reach out to me and say really nice things, which I genuinely appreciate that. But don't be shy. If you have some constructive feedback, please let me know too. I'm in Discord all the time, and I'm in chat right now. So don't be shy if you're like, I mean, I don't think it sucks. I mean, I don't think it sucks, but if you think it sucks, let me know, like, why it sucks, not that it sucks. Okay. Let's go. Oh, yeah, link to the cheat sheet. Again, I'm sorry. I always forget. I'm such a donkey sometimes. I'm going to drop that link right now. It's simplycyber.io/pivot. Okay. And I just ask that you don't publish the link on social media yet. I'm basically doing like a soft launch with the Simply Cyber community. That way I don't get overwhelmed by people, and I can, if you have questions, I can answer them. If you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to do a soft launch with the Simply Cyber community first, just to kind of be able to give that extra level of attention. And then we can go ham next week with the world. All right, let me look at questions coming in from chat. Cole Scordino says, "Hey Jerry, I've got a degree in business information systems." Congratulations, Cole. Passed the cyber boot camp with extensive hands-on training with Vanderbilt. Recently passed my Sec Plus exam. What next? First of all, congratulations on the Sec Plus. Second of all, congratulations on passing the boot camp. Cole, what I would advise you to do is, all right, Cole, what I would advise you to do is the following, okay? Two things. One, I actually, I get asked these questions a lot, so I've made resources. So Cole, if you go to this simplycyber.io/book, this is like a 15-page book I wrote, but basically you've done steps 1 and 2 and 3. So you would want to do step 4 of 10. Step 4 of 10 is basically, what role do you want? Like, it sounds like you're like Sec Plus, Cyber Boot Camp. Those are very probably inch deep, mile wide, right? So you probably learned some basic concepts, some, crypto, some threat actor behaviors, incident response techniques, GRC. Like, you're kind of you have good perspective over things, but you need to start niching down, zeroing down. Also, I want to point out in the boot kit, the pivot kit, I think there's something in here for you. Hold on. So if you sign up for the cheat sheet on day 2, I email you this pivot kit. It's like another resource I built. But Cole, right here, what roles are in the industry? This is what you need to do next. You have to figure out, what do you want, Cole? Like, do you want to be a GRC analyst? Do you want to be a SOC analyst? Do you want to be a pen tester? Like, what fills your cups? Or do you just need a job right now? You got laid off 3 months ago and you need to get paid now, JG Wentworth style. So then it's like, okay, like, what jobs have the most openings in industry? Probably SOC analysts, GRCs kind of fighting you for that. So then maybe you narrow it down to like, okay, what has a lot of jobs and I like? So that Venn diagram intersection, and start drilling into that. I do want to say, if you want to do SOC analyst, Cole, there's a phenomenal resource on the Simply Cyber YouTube channel under playlists called, I think, SOC Analyst Lab. It's if you Google "so you want to be a SOC analyst" Eric Capuano blog, it's phenomenal. It's like one of the best home lab SOC analyst experiences that I know of. Okay, this is what it is. I'll drop a link in it. Okay, and Cole, again, this is just if you want to be a SOC analyst. SOC Analyst Lab. I don't want you to be overwhelmed, Cole, because this is a really awesome lab, But you can see here, there's 2 YouTube videos. They're both my YouTube videos. But in this video right here, I actually walk through the entire blog step by step and build the lab so you basically don't run into any issues because you just have to follow what I'm doing in the lab. And you do all sorts of cool stuff like install post-exploitation frameworks, do detection tuning, fire alerts, use an enterprise grade EDR solution in Lima Charlie. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Cole. And Cole, don't be shy. If that did not answer your question, please say it in chat. But basically the TLDR is you need to figure out which job you want and start niching down on it. Dave Robbins, what's up, Dave? David. Hey, Jerry guy, is it true that your favorite subjects are crypto and AI since you're the inverse of Jerry? Oh my God.
I'm a crypto evangelist. I love it, love it, love it.
Oh my God, have I got an NFT for you, David Robbins? Oh, it's so hot, it's so lit. Hey, jump on my private Discord server and connect your MetaMask wallet real quick. Early adoption, the NFTs are about to drop. Bitcoin, going to the moon, Shiba Inu. All right, what about Chinese products with backdoors IoT equipment? Secure Nation, that's not, I guess I don't understand the question. What are my thoughts about Chinese products with backdoors IoT equipment? I certainly think it's possible. If you have any suspicions, I mean, guys, so my immediate thought goes to nerd, right? So it's probably based on what Jen Easterly and Chris Wray said at those Senate hearings. Let me, Chris Wray, Jen Easterly. There was a select committee recently on basically China and the cybersecurity of China. There's Jen right there. Right. Hold on. There's Jen right there. I know I just carved off half her face. This is the FBI director. Okay. This is the new director Coker guy. Right. These are the big players in the cyberspace for the US federal government. And they had this hearing about what China's doing. And they said that China is basically deploying and setting up kind of infrastructure in United States, small businesses, residential network devices, things that are soft targets. And they could be in a position if we went to conflict, they could just turn on and screw everything up in the US. So yes, I think it's quite possible. Whether it's a backdoor that was put in place by China during manufacturing, or if it's been added post deployment because they're soft, vulnerable targets, both are totally optional. Both are pretty realistic. What I would say, and I think this is a fun opportunity, go buy a piece of Chinese tech, right? Try to find the cheapest surveillance webcam on Amazon, right? Because it's probably really poorly made and has susceptibility to having type of nefarious pieces to it, right? Go buy one and then set it up on a network segment and have it feed through some type of span port and capture the network traffic. Look at what is it sending? Where is it going? What IP addresses? Interesting stuff. Then pull the firmware off, or you could pull the firmware off using a couple techniques. Go download the firmware from the device manufacturer's website. Use a tool like Binwalk, reverse engineer it, look through it. Usually it's a lightweight operating system like Squash. Is it Squash? Squash? Oh my God. It's been a minute since I did this. Squash file system? Yeah, Squash FS. Oh, you guys can't see it. Squash FS. This is a pretty common file system that they deploy on lightweight firmware. It'll have BusyBox and just a couple Linux Linux binaries, so it can do what it needs to do. But you can basically pull out that file system and then mount it onto your Linux drive or whatever, and then traverse the file system and look at files. It's how I found a really sussy backdoor user master account I may or may not have found a sussy backdoor account in a Zixel NAS 326 back in 2017. All right. What else we got? Hopefully, by the way, I hope you guys are getting value from this. Sometimes I This is why we call it jaw jacking, I suppose, because sometimes I go deep on answers, and I just hope it's valuable. Cybertron, Dr. Jerry, I'm trying to find some good time management resources. Ooh. So Cybertron, from a time management perspective, two options. One I've seen with a lot of success is the Pomodoro method, which is basically like a 20-minute timer, and you tune out all distractions for 20 minutes and just work on something, achieve some progress on that something, and then take a 10-minute break, rinse and repeat. For me personally, what I do is I actually block my calendar. So like if I'm working on an activity, like yesterday, I had to get something done for a lawyer, right? So I blocked an hour of time on my calendar, like a meeting, and said, you're doing this. So like I look at my week, okay, and I say, hey, this week I've got to accomplish these 5 things. And then I'm like, all right, this thing will probably take me an hour. This thing will take me an hour. This thing will take me 2 hours. So, and then I'll be like, all right, I'll do it here, here, here. And maybe the 2-hour thing I break up into 2 different segments, right? And I come up with some like realistic accomplishment for that 1 hour segment and then the second hour. And then that's my calendar for the week. So when someone says, hey, do you want to grab lunch? I'm like, let me look at my calendar. And even though I don't have any meetings, I have a meeting with myself. And I say, hey, I'm busy. I can't. I got a meeting. For me, that works from a time management perspective, because then, this is kind of nerdy and it works for me, but I like to think of myself as 2 different people. There's admin Jerry, and then there's like worker bee Jerry. And the admin Jerry is worker bee Jerry's boss. And admin Jerry looks at what needs to be accomplished, looks at how much time it needs to do, and basically PMs it. And then worker bee Jerry doesn't get to think for himself. Worker bee Jerry looks at the calendar and says, oh, that admin Jerry, but I got to work on this lawyer thing now. And then I just put my head down and grind through it, right? Sometimes I'll close Discord. Sometimes I'll close all other tabs. I'll turn on the focus, turn my phone off. I hope that helps. If you get an email from a job you applied to saying if they decided to go forward with other candidates, is it worth sending them a thank you email? I would, Zach Morrison. Here's the thing. Okay, sending them a thank you email is not going to change their mind about hiring you. But, dude, be consistent. Put good out into the world. You never know who's watching, okay? Maybe you say, hey, maybe the person that you email back thought you were a great candidate and their boss wants to hire their nephew. So they're like, you send a thank you note. It leaves a good impression. It's like the last thing they remember. Like, oh, yeah, that Zach Morrison was a totally legit dude. And then maybe that person switches companies and they're like, I remember Zach. I wonder if he's still looking. Okay. Again, I can't promise that. And maybe for every 50 seeds you throw into the field, only 3 sprout flowers. But dude, consistency, put good out into the world. And this is like the essence of networking. Chris Rock is up in here. When are you going to set up your own TV network on YouTube equivalent 24/7 TV show with segments like your show? You're ready. Oh my gosh. Well, Chris Rock, thank you for saying that. And thank you for indicating or implying that the Simply Cyber content is quality enough to warrant a 24/7 show. For what it's worth, I did launch, whatever you want to call it, the Simply Cyber media group, I guess. So there's other pods that are coming online. There's my show. There's Cyber Starters, which is like focused on entrepreneurial stuff. There's 2 Cyber Chicks, which you can come back next Wednesday to watch the season 4, episode 3. We've got Charles Finfrock's What the Frock, Threat or Opportunity podcast. So we're working our way there, Chris Rock. We're working our way, buddy. I'm so, I'm so conservative and so deliberate about execution that I can't just go YOLO and throw out a bunch of content. But I like your idea, Chris. I like your idea. We should investigate that. See if Sim Monster wants to sponsor. All right. Space Taco's in the house. Oh, almost done with that book about how the world ends. Oh, cool. Yeah, Nicole Pelros book's awesome. What are you reading right now? My next book is Michelle Kahn's book on being a dope CISO. All right. So really quick, Space Tacos is talking about this. Oh, hey, I missed a super chat. I'm sorry. Travis W. with the $10 super chat back during the mid-roll. Thank you, Travis W. And hey, apologies for missing that super chat, bud. Lazaro Rivera coming in hot with a super chat. Thank you, Lazaro.
We just become best friends. Yep.
Had to get out of my comfort zone yesterday and call a risky user to confirm their sign-in activity. Thankfully, it was a false positive. Hashtag Team SC all day. Yes, 100%. Great work, Lazaro. I'm glad it was a false positive. And I want to remind everybody, if you're doing something like professionally that is out of your comfort zone, that is good because that means you're learning. If you're doing something that you're comfortable with, that means you've already done it and you've already mastered it. Stepping into your uncomfortable is how you grow as a professional. So great job. Space Tacos was talking about the Nicole Pelleroth book, This Is How the World Ends. If you haven't read this, this might be one of the best books I've ever read. It's just so awesome. Where is it? Where the hell is it? It's got to be here. Oh my God. We have to add it to this list here. Okay, this is the book. This book's awesome. You can see I bought it October 3rd, 2022. If you get a chance to read this book, you'll love this. This is how they tell me the world ends by Nicole Pelleroth. It is riveting. It is nonfiction, but it reads like kind of like a page turner spy thriller. It won Business Book of the Year 2021. It does not feel like a business book. It gets into 0 days in the history of the black market for exploits. It talks about the NSA. It talks about the amazing growing cyber capabilities out of Argentina. She goes into the field and interviews people. It's so good. It's so good. Currently, I'm reading two things right now. Battlefield Cyber is what I'm reading, although I've put a little bit of pause on it. I've been working my A off, Space Tacos. So what I have been reading, which I'll admit is not cybersecurity related, but I like to work in some nonfiction every once in a while. But what I've been working on is I've been working on this. Okay. I've started The Witcher. I've heard amazing things about it. I read The Last Wish, which is technically the first book chronologically in the series. And now I'm reading this. I like this kind of fantasy fiction stuff that's multi-book series for entertainment reading. So I've read the Dark Tower series. Wheel of Time I've read twice, which is like 15 books. It's crazy. Game of Thrones. And now I'm doing the Witcher series. So that's what I'm reading. Sorry, it's not cyber, but what's the chance Simply Cyber comes out with a flaming donkey shirt and merch? I don't know, Dave Robbins. Let me think on it. And we'll get back to you. I mean, if you want to make one, you certainly can. I'm not going to stop you, but you know what would be kind of cool? There's a really, really cool sticker company. I forget what it's called, but there's one that like is known in the cyber industry as like making sick stickers. Jason Haddock's just recently like logos and stickers, and maybe they could make like a flaming donkey one. That'd be kind of cool. I do want to share with you guys an update. If you're going to Wild West Hackin' Fest, by the way, Space Tacos, yeah, the Witcher series books so far are amazing. The way the author is able to like describe the scene and really capture the human emotions and the human experience interacting is fascinating. Plus, Geralt, the main character, is very interesting character. If you guys are going to Wild West Hackin' Fest, I would love to drop some knowledge bombs right now, okay? Really quickly, if you're going to Wild West Hackin' Fest, I want to share a couple things. First of all, Simply Cyber is in fact one of the sponsors. We're going to have a booth at Wild West Hackin' Fest. We're sponsoring one of the stops on the sponsor stampede. Whoop, whoop. So we'll have some fun with that. If you are going and you want to be involved in any of it, it is a community, so let's go. Jesse Johnson from Slay Security Plus, which is a different YouTube channel, but it's part of the Simply Cyber ecosystem, if you get my meaning. I'm not going to be at the booth trying to like sell you on my courses or daily cyber threat brief. We're going to be hanging out at the booth. Jesse will be there. We were talking, we might do some like live streaming, like live stream Slay Security Plus, live stream interviews with people, introduce the community, whatever. All about good times. Thinking about hosting a Magic the Gathering arena tournament at Wild West Hack Invest super early on that, but just to share some fun ideas that we've been kicking around for Wild West Hack and Fest. If you're not going to Wild West Hack and Fest, I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot of FOMO. It's such a great conference. It's so cool. Cyber Butterfly comes in hot with Mr. Gerald. Can you please confirm if you received my email with information about the logo you are working on? Cyber Butterfly. What I don't know. I don't think so. Email is really not a good vehicle to get connected with me. Email, guys, I get like 100 emails a day. Like I get a lot of emails. I literally have like, I have 5 email accounts that I use. Like one's personal, one's for Simply Cyber, one's for the Citadel, one is for the school, one is for like vendors I deal with. I get a lot. It's not a good vehicle. So Cyber Butterfly, what I would ask you to do is go into Discord and message me or I need to know what your email address is so I can search. I need to know what email address you have and what email address you emailed to, and then I can search for it and we could talk. Do you think companies should prepare for undersea internet cables being cut like what happened 2 days ago on a lesser scale? Fariz Azari asked the question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you really prepare for it. I mean, you could have backup internet lines and stuff, but cutting internet wires, subsea internet has happened multiple times. Just recently, even underwater internet cut. Typically, it happens by accident, by like some dredging that gets pulled over. But there was one that happened like last year, and it was like suspected. It was suspected. Oh my God. Yeah. So I see this story that AP released about how this launched, but like there's this is from May of 2023. Oh my God, what is it with these pop-ups, dude? I'm not disabling my ad blocker. Yeah, like I can't find the story right now, but there was a story about like a fishing vessel or a submarine or something that cut it, and there was suspicion that it was deliberate, and then an investigation was done and it was found not to be deliberate. But like cutting those undersea cables has happened numerous times. What I would say for us, Azari, is like, in my opinion, that is main backbone internet, but for national security systems, Department of Defense systems, I have to believe that they have backup internet capabilities through satellites that cannot be cut. It's too much of a single point of failure for it not to have been considered in the threat model when they are putting systems online and depending on that undersea cable for internet. So I suspect they have backup internet, and it's really around like slower bandwidth speeds and stuff like that. What's concerning to me is like having the way that AT&T and Verizon went down a couple weeks ago, and then how I didn't look into this, but Eric Taylor was reporting yesterday that like major websites like Facebook, Google, Target, and Nintendo were down. These coordinated like services going down is a problem, right? Not that like Nintendo's a problem, but like it's an indication that it could be something bigger tomorrow. Chris, Medicus blog says, what are your thoughts on yesterday's impact of the authentication DNS routing issues of Meta? All right, so I didn't look or see the story about that, but let me know if it was BGP related, Border Gateway Protocol. Give me 1 second. I can do this real time. All right. So Meta, authentication, DNS, routing issues. Let's see. All right, SiliconANGLE. Let's look at this really quickly. All right, I'm going to use my cheat code here. This is such a great little extension for doing stuff like this. Have ChatGPT summarize the story. Come on, summarize it, bruh. Oh my God. Hold on, I got to find a different story. Oh my God. Like today is not a good day for like quick actions. I want to figure this out for you, but I'm not seeing a lot of news reports out. This is from 2021. Yeah, I can't really comment on it, Medicus blog. I didn't even hear about it. I haven't seen any news reports except for this one from SiliconANGLE. And I've never heard of this outlet, so I don't know what it is. Facebook people are down. Okay. The issue was resolved in a few hours. So here's what I'm thinking happened. If I had to guess, it was a network engineer routing issue. It's happened before. I mean, Meta's got its own ASN. They manage their own BGP records. They've brought down parts of, Facebook and the internet before. It's not often, but they have a lot of moving parts. They touch a lot of things. I don't think it's anything to be concerned with. Where does Jerry Guy fall into rotation? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Eric Taylor's here Tuesday, and DJ BSEC is here on Thursday. What would be the ideal cert after Sec Plus? Austin Fraley asks. Well, Austin, again, it depends what you want to do. Like, here's my thing. If you've ever played a video game, right? Like an adventure RPG video game, like when you first start the game, they kind of keep you in a sandbox, or they keep you with like other noobs, and they don't have the other people out there who can just whoop your butt, right? So you're there, you're learning how the controls work, you're going through a tutorial, maybe you're getting a couple upgrades. Oh, like I want to be a really good like medic, or I want to be a really good shooter, or whatever, right? And then once you finish all that, they drop you into the world and you're off and running. To me, there's a parallel here. Like with Sec Plus and a lot of the fundamental skills, like you're in that sandbox learning, and you're like, it's a safe space, which is why one of the reasons I built Simply Cyber is so there is a safe, inclusive place for people to ask questions and learn. But once you get your Sec Plus, and you don't need to get your Sec Plus, but a lot of people do. It's recommended you do for HR reasons and such. But once you get your Sec Plus, it's like you've completed the tutorial and now you're entering the world, right? But what you do from there depends on what you want to do. Do you want to be a sniper? Do you want to be a medic? Do you want to go ground and pound and get in there, right? And based on what you want to do, Austin, depends on what you want to go. So I'll just give you like actionable responses now that I've given my little theory thing. If you want to become a GRC analyst, go look at the CISA CISA. It's an audit cert. It's excellent. And to me, it gets you in the right direction. If you want to be a penetration tester, ethical hacker, specifically on pen testing engagements, network penetration, AD, stuff like that, go look at TCM Academy. They just released a junior penetration tester cert, and then they have the PNPT, which is the big boy cert. You don't need years of experience to qualify for it. You just need to do it. That is getting a lot of industry love. So that's where I would go. If you want to become a web application security pen tester, you might want to look at I don't know if Burp Suite or Portswigger has a cert, but they're certainly leading the industry around web app security and stuff like that. Obviously, they have a tool that they sell. If you want to get into Blue Team, CYSA Plus is a great next cert. That's really kind of geared for SOC analysts. Hopefully that answers your questions. Tech with Toya says, hey, Jerry, I wanted to know how I can combine my love for GRC. Yes, GRC love it. And estate planning to help people grow and protect their assets. Tech with Toya. Again, I'm shooting from the hip here. From an estate planning perspective, there are some parallels here, right? I mean, think about business continuity, right? So I think access and business continuity are the two key areas to give consideration to if you're trying to marry GRC with estate planning. Hey, listen, we got to make sure we have everything in place, because if you die, what happens? And I know that's a tough conversation with people, but if you die, what happens? If you get disabled, what happens? How are we going to continue either funding your life or making sure that your kids are funded and well? Like what does it look through? Do a tabletop exercise, Tech with Toya, right? Tabletop exercise. Hey, I'm glad you guys came here. Like we got, little Panera sandwiches and coffee. You broke your back today. What happens? I mean, obviously, like, let's just pretend for a second that you have $100,000 in medical bills and you can't work a physical job anymore. Like, what does it look like? What do we do? How do you get access? How do you pay your next month's bill? What do your kids do? What do they know? Do they have... Now, that's business continuity. Now let's talk about access. For example, like, if you got hit by a bus, again, does your spouse know how to access all the bank accounts? Is your spouse on the bank accounts as a person who can access them? Are they listed as beneficiaries? Where do your children fall in? If you don't have spouse or children, that's fine. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that they understand not just the business continuity piece, but like physically logging in, right? If you have some crazy password for your vault and some crazy password to log into your 401k and multi-factor, how are they going to get in there? Hopefully that helps. I think that was a little bit of a tangent specifically for Tech with Toya, but I love the questions. What's your thoughts on this cloud? Hold on. This is from Soulshine. What's your thoughts on the cloud? You think it's a good field to enter? Hold on one second. Let me make sure I don't have a meeting. Well, I technically have a meeting right now. I have a admin. Jerry has, I got asked to do something for somebody and I said I would do it. So I've just moved that meeting. I just moved that meeting to, my God, I can go till 10. Okay. So Soulshine, cloud, absolutely a good field to get into. DevOps is important to understand. I would say if you're going to go into cloud, you want to focus on one specific stack. AWS and Azure are definitely where you're going to get paid.
Great cash, homie.
All right. Quince B says, can you recommend anyone to follow who is based in the UK that is in the GRC space? Ooh. I don't really know. Gary Ruddle is in the threat intelligence space. He's pretty awesome. Kevin Beaumont is more on the SecOps side. He's Gossie the dog on Mastodon and Twitter. He's excellent. Trying to think of GRC people in the UK. Oh, Mike Prevet. Mike Prevet is a CISO over in London. He writes the Return on Security newsletter. That's phenomenal. Hopefully those are three people you can use, Quince. All right. Okay. I'm catching up. Like the mod chat's all about Witcher books, so I'm way behind. Chris Young says, is Dr. Ozier looking to have volunteers sign up to man the Simply Cyber booth at Wild West Hackenfest? If I can get my arrangement locked down, I'll volunteer for a 4-hour block. Yeah, we could do that, Chris. We could do that. I mean, like I said, like Jesse and so I can't be at the booth the whole time, obviously, right? So I asked Jesse if he wanted to do the booth with me a little bit. But if we had rotating people who wanted to, evangelize and talk about Simply Cyber, that would be way cool and super awesome. So, we'll see. Guys, there's a lot of planning that has to happen. We're doing Simply CyberCon again in November. That's got to be a thing. So we'll see. Chris Nee says, finally someone who explains and gives context. I've been through many posts and it just leaves me hanging. Oh yeah, Chris Nee. Well, I'm glad that helps, Chris. That's what we're up here doing. BSEC is saying that the meta stuff was internal coding issues, so not a threat actor attack. Austin Fraley coming in hot. Pen tester or analyst is what I'm looking at. Oh, well, there you go, Chris. Or Austin. PNPT, which is a hard cert. So don't treat it lightly. And then CISA for analyst if you're talking about GRC analyst, not a SOC analyst. Burp Suite has a cert, but you need a pro license, which is the pro license is $450. The cert's $99. That's pretty expensive. But I will tell you, a lot of professionals in the web apps sec space do use Burp Suite. And if you can get one bug bounty, the license will pay for itself the first year, right? Tracy TLC says, is the digital forensics, in the digital forensic space, what certs are best in your opinion? That's a good question. I'm not super strong in the digital forensic space. I'm going to pull up the this certification roadmap that's like super dope. Okay, you can see here, you can't really see it, but trust me, it's there. This oh my God, bruh. This vertical is the forensics vibe. So then all certs in this space are forensics. So that's what I'm going to be pulling from. I'm looking, what do I notice here? Okay, so here's two things that I would recommend. All right. First of all, if you're going to do digital forensics, you got to kind of learn one of the tools: Autopsy, Ncase, FTK. Those are the three big dogs that I know about. I believe FTK is free, but it's, the quality is free, right? It does the job, but it doesn't have as pretty an interface as like Autopsy might have. So you got to pick a tool set. Next, I see certs in here for Blue Team Security Blue Team Level 1. It's a $660 course, and one exam attempt is included. I've heard a lot of good things. A Security Blue Team is not a sponsor. I'm not affiliated. This isn't funded. This is what I've heard, okay? As a practitioner, I have heard Security Blue Team is really, really good, okay? So you could probably do that and then get, it says Junior Security Operations cert, but they do a lot of forensics, right? You can see right here, digital forensics, right? So that might be a good place to go. And then you could see Paul Jeremy's got it on his map, kind of in the mid-tier level of intermediate experience. Again, I know it's hard to see, but this is, up here is like senior experience, and down here is junior experience, and right here is middle of the tier experience. So like BTL level 1 is middle of the tier. So I would look at that only because, like I said, I've heard really good things about it. I don't know what GRC classes you're talking about, Kimberly. Jenny, Glum Hippo says, where will Simply CyberCon be? Well, Simply CyberCon was a virtual conference. It'll probably be virtual this year as well. And then maybe 2025, I'll have some bandwidth and we could do an in-person one. Charleston is really nice. Just saying. Naveed Ahmadi says, how to get ready for a red team interview. Well, Naveed Ahmadi, what I would say is I've got a video for that. Whoops, hold on. Now, Naveed Ahmadi, I want to point out, I'm not a red teamer. I'm not a penetration tester, but what I'll share with you, I think is going to work for you and have value. This video right here, Naveed Ahmadi. This is how to use ChatGPT for interview hacking. So here, what I would do. Let me at Naveed. Naveed, I just tagged you and linked to this video. What I would say is take the job posting, right? Like there's clearly a job rec that you apply to. take that posting, copy and paste it into ChatGPT. Then say, hey, I'm interviewing for this job. You're a hiring manager. Ask me 5 questions and ask me a question. I want you to ask me 5 questions, but I want you to let me respond to each one in timely. I want you to ask me the question, and then I want you to explain to me why you're asking me the question. Then I'm going to give you my response, and then I want you to tell me how my response is. And then rinse and repeat, Naveed, until you feel comfortable. I would say for a red team training, you're definitely going to want to understand a lot of technical stuff. How does C2 frameworks work? What C2 framework do you like to use? How do you bypass EDR and anti-malware solutions? How do you establish persistence? How do you do living off the land? It depending on what level of experience the job is, right? If this was an entry-level one, I might have different expectations. But if you're like a mid-tier practitioner, I might say, like, because I'm not going to ask you, like, here's the thing. And I don't know what company you're interviewing with or who they are as people, but like, I don't want to be like, here's a piece of code, tell me what it does. Like, what I want to say is, you jump onto a box, a customer's, analyst or whatever falls for a fish, and you get initial access to the machine. What's the first 3 things you do? Like, I want to hear your methodology. I want to hear your thought process. I want to hear what tools you're using. Okay, you're not allowed to use any, you have to live off the land. Tell me how you establish persistence. What tools are you using? Tell me how you move laterally. What tools are you using? Right? How do you cover your tracks? Like, these are the things that I would ask. And because it's a red team, I might even say, because red team is different than pen testing. Red team is emulating certain threat actors. So now I'm going to move over into threat actor space and say, hey, listen, what threat actors can you emulate? Explain to me. Here's a simple one. Explain to me how you use MITRE ATT&CK, not how MITRE ATT&CK is used. Tell me how you use MITRE ATT&CK when doing red team stuff. Hopefully that helps. Hey, Jerry, have Hoy looked at hacking the box bug? Hey, Jerry, have Hoy looked at Hack the Box big bounty program? If so, what is your take on it? So I think this is, hey, Jerry, have you looked at Hack the Box's bug bounty program? I have not. I didn't even know they had one, honestly. That's quite a pivot for Hack the Box. I mean, let's talk about getting into a new vertical. Okay. Hack the Box has not started a bug bounty platform. They have a bug bounty cert. This is in the wheelhouse of Hack the Box. I thought you said they started a bug bounty platform. I was like, what? That's crazy. Let's see. I have not evaluated this. I will tell you, I would love, it's on my vision board. That's how much I would love. I would love to get a CVE, like a legit one. I would love to do a bug bounty and get a successful vulnerability disclosure. I would love to get the PNPT. There's a lot of professional things that, like, itches I want to scratch that I just don't have time to because I'm so pinned down with trying to execute on the work I've already signed up for. But just to let you guys know. So, I don't know. I'll tell you this, Ricardo. Hack the Box has good content. They have good training. Depending on what they teach you and what tools, it could be good, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I just can't. I don't know if they teach you Burp Suite. Probably not. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they just teach you how to exploit the OWASP top 10 and call it a day. I don't know. So what would you recommend for someone looking to break into auditing? Oh, De Niro, ISACA CISA, bro. So, well, here, 2 things. One, the ISACA CISA as a cert, that's definitely going to add value to you. This is the Certified Information Systems Auditor cert. That's good. De Niro, I don't know what country you're in, but if you're in the United States, learning FISMA, and NIST 853. Well, I can't bring them all up, but dude, if you like learn about FISMA, learn about NIST 837. Whoops. Learn about NIST 837, which is a risk management framework, RMF. I have videos on the channel for it, okay? Learn about those because there's an boatload, like every U.S. federal agency has to comply with FISMA, which means they have to have certain level of security, which they never do, by the way, and then they have to be independently audited. So there's a ton of FISMA auditor jobs. I got my start doing FISMA audit way back in, well, not my start, but one of my early jobs was FISMA auditor, okay? Tons of professional services jobs. They want to hire entry-level people to do FISMA auditing because they can charge higher rates and make larger profit margins because they're not going to pay you very well. So I would look into that. What are we doing on time? Okay. Rex says, define living off the land. If I know what I'm doing, I already have a secure UFD with a tool set. A secure UFD. What is UFD? Let me see this. So I just Googled UFD because I don't know what UFD is, Rex, but it comes up with USB flash drive. Is that a UFD? I don't know what UFD is, but basically living off the land. And this is an awesome resource. Living off the land, okay? I'm going to drop this link in chat. Essentially, living off the land is weaponizing the default binaries and applications that are going to be installed on every Windows box or every basic Linux system. So, for example, these are Windows binaries, okay? Cert util, okay? Cert util you can use to like generate certificates and calculate hashes and stuff. But did you know you can also use to download stuff and encode and decode stuff, right? So you could technically have a base 64 encoded message as an argument being passed to a web resource, right? We saw this with the pizza image on Ars Technica not too long ago. Let me pull that up so you guys don't think I'm crazy. All right. So just recently, there was this story about how this picture that's on Ars Technica actually had base 64 encoded as an argument to the graphic. So the picture would still render, but you'd be pulling this down onto your machine so you could display the picture of the pizza. Well, with that, you could use the cert util function on the Windows native system to do the decoding, right? So you've already exploited the machine. You're already on it, but you don't want to bring down Mimikatz and detonate it because the EDR is going to fly off the handle, right? They're like SecOps people are going to know you're there because you're loud and noisy and bringing foreign apps onto the box. So by living off the land, you're using tools that are already there, but you're using them in a way that they were not intended for. You're using them for malicious purposes. That's living off the land. I hope that answers that for everybody. What would you recommend for someone looking? Oh, I'm sorry, I already read that one. Mr. Green reads, how about MCSI Mossy Cybersecurity? They have a few hours of leadership training for newbies. Just signed up yesterday. Have you heard of them? I have heard of them. I don't know why I've heard of them. I haven't heard good or bad about them. Let me look at them really quickly. I mean, this is a pretty big flex, right? They got NSA. They got major agencies here. Their website looks pretty legit. So I don't know. I mean, it looks legit. It looks legit, but you know, that looking legit is marketing, right? I can't. I mean, they have try 100 hours for free. That's pretty dope. So, yeah, I don't know. I will tell you this, Mr. Green reads, I would love for you to come back to the Simply Cyber community and share your honest opinion so we can we can learn from each other and know whether or not this is super legit and value add or not. All right, guys. Hey, the music ended, so I'm going to call it a wrap. It's been fun. Thanks so much for hanging out and being part of the show. I definitely enjoyed talking with you guys. I do love jaw jacking and chilling with y'all and hanging out. So Raymond Cruz, you'll see. I don't think network disruptions made it. We did talk about it at jaw jacking. So, all right, guys, just a quick reminder. If you want, many of you have already done this, but I put together this resource. If you're interested, it basically provides a list of resources. Anyone can use this resource, this pivot kit. Anyone can use it, but I built it with the person in mind who's trying to pivot from something into cybersecurity. So auto mechanic, pharmacist, accountant, help desk, like whatever. And in addition to every single element on the list, which I've deliberately selected, I've provided a video for each section. I couldn't make the pictures themselves clickable, which is really frustrating, but like right next to it, I have click here. Every single section has a click here. And when you click here, you'll get basically me walking through the list, telling you exactly, like if you click on this link, this resource, here is what you should do with this resource. This is why it's valuable. Click here, click here, click here. So I'm trying to like go one step further than just providing you a list by providing you a list and telling you how to maximize it. All right. I think it's going to be really cool. Go to simplycyber.io/pivot if you want to scoop this thing up. It's free. And then you'll get a you'll get a pivot kit the next day. So everybody who signed up on Monday should have already gotten the pivot kit. And you know, if you have any feedback, like of course, if you have feedback on anything, let me know. I try to be transparent as possible. I try to serve the community. So for those who did sign up on Monday, look for your inbox today because you're going to get a sweet email from me highlighting some of our Simply Cyber community members' success stories. Nick, thanks for the super chat.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all the squad members. And come back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're gonna roll it back and do it again. It's gonna be all about good times. Special shout out to all the mods. Definitely appreciate all they do. The show could not be put out the way it's put out without the support of the mods. They absolutely are critical to the success of the program. So thank you all very much. Guys, be good. Thank you. And until next time, stay secure. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from